What's up, guys? Welcome to our channel. Well, some of you may know Germany as this or as that. But today, okay, we will talk about not so much the famous stuff that Germany is known for, right? So today we will actually dig a little bit deeper and tell you the story about Rebecca Lemp and help you catch up why this event even took place, right? So hang on tight. We will shine a light on the fear, the myths, and the tragic. Are you ready to explore this very, very important topic in history? Join us together and uncover what really happened, okay? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. So now I would say discover the shocking truths and, oh my goodness, the torturous, horrible European witch trials, you guys. You won't believe me, right? You may have slept on this topic, actually, during history class. So this is your second chance now, okay? How did it even impact the American witch trials, right? The Salem witch trials and such. So it can also still affect us today in a couple ways. If you think really deep, if you need my help, let me know. But this is what we're going to talk about today. Accusations of witchcraft. It reached a high peak in Germany. It teared families apart, left communities shattered, and just simply left everyone else devastated, right? This persuasive climate and fear was frequently justified in the name of God and the defense of justice. You ask, why does this need to be talked about today, like 500 years later? I feel like maybe it's because social anxiety has increased. You know what? We need to talk about this, and why not use some of the worst times in history during the medieval times to talk about this? And maybe we can stop with the finger pointing, and the cancel culture hopefully will have an end as well. So let's talk about this, and let's talk about Rebecca Lemp. So when did this event take place? Well, it took place between the 15th and the 18th century, with the largest number of trials happening in southwestern Germany. Combined, over 6,400 people were trialed and over 6,800 were executed. Why, you ask? Well, someone mentioned that witchcraft yield both good and ill fortune was based on the belief that the souls of the deceased, though unseen, right, had the power to influence forces of the nature and manifest in various forms. These ideas were instrumental in shaping early religious beliefs. So that's not to say that they're still believing this today. This is just what we found, and this is what it was. Rebecca's heart raced wildly in her chest, pressing against her throat as she slowly opened the creaky front door of a family home. A chill ran down her spine, amplifying the fear that clouded her features. As she cautiously lifted her gaze, her breath caught in her throat at the sight of this tall man standing imposingly on her doorstep. Shadow loomed over her, casting a dark pall over her heart. Suffocating sense of panic enveloped in her, mingling with an overwhelming feeling of dread. She stood frozen, staring into the piercing gaze of the stranger before her. You know, I can't help but wonder what thoughts raced through her mind as she saw him standing there. Thoughts of her children must have flooded her consciousness, their laughter and innocent faces, vividly recalling cherished memories. Maybe her husband's reassuring smile came to her, a symbol of her love and support amidst the turmoil. It's possible that in the midst of her fear, she experienced a whirlwind of memories, her life playing like a film before her white, panic-stricken eyes. Each scene a reminder of everything she held dear. Now, as she considered the man before her, a sense of dread washed over her. Joining him would spare her from far greater consequences. With her husband away on business, she was left to wrestle with the daunting reality of her children's presence. What fate awaited them? Would they be forced to witness this horrifying scene unfold? The weight of her desperation grew heavier as she remembered the charges against her. Rebecca stood on trial for witchcraft, a label that could destroy her and haunt her family forever. So, as already mentioned, accusations of witchcraft reached a horrific and unbelievable highest peak in Germany during the 16th century. Now, this is when we start looking at Rebecca's case, right? So, again, sadly, they were tearing communities apart, they were shattering families, and just left countless of individuals in serious physical and emotional pain. And people actually thought God felt like pointing fingers and acted upon his name to serve justice. Now, their sense of justice back then is not what it is today. Maybe something to note on the side, right? But if you could heal your witch, you hold transformative ceremonies? Oh no, you're weird. Therefore, you must be a witch. Solar eclipse? Oh, you must burn, you mysterious female of the night who sleeps with the devil to make lots of little cute devil babies and eventually destroy humanity and everything else men worked so hard to accomplish. Now that you hopefully understand what witchcraft meant to people in Europe, we can now finally go back to Rebecca and remember her and talk about her story, right? So you better take off your quiet pillow because let's just say it gets a little sad. Rebecca Lemp was born in 5050 to a Leineweber Handsteller. Okay, mother is unknown. She married Peter Lemp, had 3 sons by 1590. They raised their 3 sons in a loving family home, and laughter and heartfelt hugs were part of the daily routine, right? Like a storybook, happy family, even financially. They were really well off, which was pretty uncommon for the 16th century. So they were doing pretty well for themselves. So how did this, no evidence, no proof, no nothing, how does this even happen? So many times it was either unfriendly neighbors or slaves or family members that were part of suspecting someone to be a witch, okay? Sometimes there were rumors. Sometimes someone would write an anonymous letter to the courts. And that is when prosecutors had to test this besung witch, and at that time the judge was fine with random accusations made by these individuals. He excused his decisions usually by saying, hey, it's devil's work, so it has to be taken seriously. And so he took it so far, and he would call children, criminals, mentally ill people to the stand, right? So the belief was that accused witches danced with the devil and belonged to a bewitched and dark evil underground society, and therefore should be physically and mentally tortured until they confess. So you see, women were seen as small, passionate, and mostly evil creatures. So the equivalent of the opposite gender. So that is why they fit so perfectly to witch hunters' sick little imagination. Only the female has the personality to hook up with the devil and make little devil babies or something like that. So now we have Rebecca and 5 other women, okay? They were all confined each of them were all confined into oak prison boxes on wheels. They were dragged into the bustling market square. And did I mention one of the women? They were visibly pregnant and possibly in her 2nd trimester. Fear was written all over their faces, okay? There was a window open. There was one tiny window in each of the barrels, and it offered a limited view of the world around them. And as they peered through, all they saw was people with mixed, sneers and cheers from passerbys. People had disgust in their face, or cruel laughter, or just they loved the sight of these imprisoned women, overshadowed by the humiliation and shame of their public display. It must have been horrific, okay? 29th of July, Rebecca trialed by using torture methods. Family and relatives were responsible to pay for the dungeon setup, pretty much. Instruments were presented to Rebecca right in front of her face. So there was a rack, thumb screws, the block, the axe for cutting of limbs, okay, the torture, iron chair. Rebecca was forced to stand there, okay, while they prepared the thumb screws and Spanish boots. And I cannot even begin to imagine the sheer horror she must have felt at that moment, okay. I wonder if she thought of her children, or if she was still in denial of all of that. I know I would be. It's important to understand this detail to the core, okay? About how this thumb screws work and the Spanish boot and all the other stuff.
Okay, you guys, so this one is the thumb screws. As the name may mildly suggest, was used for thumbs and toes. So after making a tidy-mighty in a slow motion, which happened after each question asked, the appendage placed into this device will slowly be crushed. Slowly, not fast. Sometimes they liked adding just a pinch of sting like a cherry on the top by adding sharp points, stabbing through the layers of the skin of the victim's appendages until bone deep and almost unrecognizable, y'all. Just a piece of flesh with a strong smell of blood, human fresh meat, dangling off the rest of the finger. Now, as you can imagine, this amount of pain combined with the long sleep deprivation resulting from this agonizing pain will probably make even the strongest Hulk out there want to confess to the most ridiculous crimes which they did not even commit.
If the torture only ended there. No, they weren't done. So we carefully assume it was not enough to make a false confession. So they just went a little bit further. They used the Spanish boot on her.
So the Spanish boot, this one was made of iron and designed to deform and crush not just your toes, but your entire foot and lower leg. Can you imagine the pain? No pain medication here for them. No, not for the prisoners. Never. Not for preventing infection. Nothing. Nada. Personally, I don't even think they cleaned that boot after they were done with any of their victims.
So, sadly, there was another possibility as well that Rebecca was chained onto the walls of her torture chamber during the night and doors locked tightly just so she cannot come out and perform some sort of revenge magic on her torturers. On July 30th, they used another torture method on her. It's called Leer aufziehen, which is where they tie your hands behind your back and pull your hands then up above your head and fasten your hands then on a pretty much like a horizontal pole. And yeah, so your body, the rest of your body is just kind of pulling your entire weight down. So you can imagine the pain that she must have been in. So according to credible historians, this type of torture did not only go on for a few hours. No, guys. This went on for days. So I can't even. What she must have felt in that moment as she just. I don't know what to say. I have no words. I'm sorry. I have no words. Let's return back to Rebecca as she endured the excruciating pain gripping her body. She trembled, her voice barely whispering, Please, just listen to me. I'm a witch and yes, I met with others to practice witchcraft, so I swear I meant no harm. Just please let me go. Her plea, a desperate attempt to convey her fear and regret. Now, remember her husband, Peter Lemp? Well, he tried everything to get her out of that prison, like literally everything, including sending her a self-exiting potion that she had asked for in one of her letter conversations. So the letter he received of his wife shall be the last one, and I want to share Rebecca's words with you, as I strongly believe this deserves all the attention possible.
Oh, my beloved, my chosen darling, how I lament the thought of having to part from you, and under such innocuous circumstances no less. I feel as though I am cursed, and I shall forever hold the blame against the heavens for our suffering. The weight of the world presses upon us. We are forced to speak out, and I find myself in a state of torment. I assure you, I am as innocent as the purest soul in God's domain. If only I could comprehend even a sliver of knowledge regarding this dreadful matter of witchcraft. I would gladly forsake my claim to heaven itself, should it mean I could escape this plight. Oh, my dearest heart, what turmoil is this that consumes me? The anguish I endure is unbearable, especially knowing my poor orphans are suffering without me. Father, I implore you, send me some means to escape this torment, some poison to end this agony. Otherwise, despair shall overwhelm me. If you cannot, deliver it to me today. Please, do so tomorrow. Your words, even if just a letter, will provide me a glimmer of hope amidst this despair. Wear the ring I bestowed upon you as a symbol of my love and devotion. I ask you to take the delicate necklace we cherished and divide it into 6 pieces. Let our children wear their fragments as a tangible connection to the bond we share, a reminder they will carry with them throughout their lives. Oh, my darling, I am but an innocent Magellona, cruelly taken from your side against my will. How can a just God permit such a thing to occur? If indeed I am deemed a monster, a witch, then surely the heavens shall show me no mercy.
Peter was finally able to come and visit her, and consequently, Rebecca found a whole new motivation and strength to take all of her statements back. Rebecca fought hard, and I wish I could tell you that she made it out alive, and that she went to her son's first wedding, and that she died in peace, but that did not happen, no. The town decided again to just take her back in the torture chamber, okay? And she eventually admitted that she ate deceased children. I mean, how much pain do you have to be in to admit such nonsense? After fighting so much, so as you can imagine, the Lemp family never saw Rebecca ever again, so she was publicly burned in September 1590. Rebecca was a wife, loving mother, and according to the letters, a beautiful person, inside and out. Do you remember the one that was in her second trimester? Yeah, so she gave birth in December, and then she unfortunately passed away in May 1591 due to her being as well burned on the stake. So, as sad as this is, and I know we cannot turn back time to change any of this, and I'm totally aware of that. However, do you feel like what would you want if you were in Rebecca's situation? Would you maybe want the future society to know about her experience? And I mean, not just her, but so many more and other women, even men, right? Some of them were children too. I mean, all this suffering for nothing? I mean, you tell me, right? Yeah. Tell me what you think, please, below in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And we come to our final thoughts on the legacy of the Witchtrials. Thank you so much for joining us to this journey and listening to Rebecca's story. It's her and 6,887 other victims that died and were hopefully stay unforgotten. So there were misunderstandings, consequences of scapegoating. So let us remember the past so that we do not repeat it. So I hope that wherever she is right now, she's reunited with her family and once again really relives precious moments from which we were taking from her far too soon, from the evil, mischievous, power-grabbing people. So if you found this video interesting in any way, please like and subscribe for more stories from victims. What do you think about the witch trials? Share your thoughts in the comments below.